can hear in my voice, I am come down with some sort of sickness. It is not COVID. I took tests and I am negative, but I think it's just some sort of cold, sore throat thing. So I'm not going to talk at you for very long, but I just wanted to let you know that I am starting 2 new books. One is Tides by Sara Freeman, and In the Coming Bad Days by Sara Bernstein. And it is very funny because both of these books, in the blurbs, not the blurbs, but both of these books in the dust jackets descriptions, say that these are about women in self-imposed exile. So call this a self-imposed exile themed reading vlog, because I'm going to read these 2 books and tell you what I think about them. I can already tell that I think they're going to be pretty different. I've started reading Tides, and Tides is written in a more fragmentary style, and I don't believe The Coming Bad Days is written in that style. And also, Tides is like really a woman on the edge, like homeless, basically. Very different than I think what The Coming Bad Days is about. So far with Tides, it is a woman who, it's made pretty clear in the beginning, who leaves her husband and her brother and sister-in-law behind in Canada, comes to a small seaside town in the US to get away from some trauma. And I believe they say this in the beginning, but that trauma is, I believe that she had a stillborn birth. And so she has fled and is now trying to get by in the seaside town and has no money, and it's just trying to make it work. And so that's sort of what it's about so far, and her dealing with that grief. And so far the writing's really beautiful and very well done. So I'll keep you all posted as I read more. And holy heck, this hair is getting quite unruly. Okay, I'm gonna go rest my voice, read a little bit more, and talk to you all later. Okay, bye. Hi everyone, I still am a frog, talking like a toad over here, but I thought I'd just let you know, I don't know where to hold this, put it right there, that I finished the Tides. I keep calling it The Tides, it's just Tides, by Sara Freeman, and I thought that it was very well written and super heartbreaking. It was a pretty quick read because it was written in this very fragmenty style, so there'd be some pages where there was not a lot of text on the page. However, I really think that this author does a great job depicting a woman grieving and also trying to run away from that grief, but in the end not being able to escape it. I've said before kind of what the book was about at the beginning, and it's not a super plotty book, so there's not a ton that happens, but essentially she gets to this small seaside town and she finds, after kind of getting by in the summer months, not on much, she finally gets a job at a local wine and like specialty food store sort of in town, and starts to get to know the owner of that shop, whose name is Simon. And then their relationship sort of brings about a realization at the end of what she's been running from. And yeah, it was just overall really well done. Yeah, I like how it didn't really hold back at all, and I feel like the author was pretty realistic of what this woman was going through, and didn't, you know, kind of did talk about the everyday feeling of poverty, because really this woman is living in poverty. She is sleeping. At the beginning, she sneaks into the wine shop attic to sleep because she has nowhere to sleep. And then soon Simon realizes that she's sleeping up there. We'll pause for the dog scratching. And soon Simon realizes she's sleeping there and lets her stay up there. But it was a really interesting book. Yeah, I do recommend Tides. And I think this is also Sara Freeman's debut, so I am looking forward to hearing more from her. And then I started The Coming Bad Days by Sara Bernstein, and I take back what I said earlier about this one not being in the fragmentary style, because it definitely sort of is. It's written in really short sentence, like paragraphs. It's written in really short paragraphs. It's like a different kind of, yeah, I would say this is fragmentary in its own sense, maybe. Less so than I think Tides was, but fragmentary adjacent. Let's call it fragmentary adjacent. That's what I'd say. And I can't say much on this yet because I am 8 pages in. But I will read more and let you know. This is part 2 of A Woman in Self-Imposed Exile, so I'll let you know how that goes. I am still sick, not feeling great. My throat really hurts. So I'm gonna go stop filming, just so I can rest my voice, but I will show you some flowers I got this weekend to warm my sad, sick heart. So first I have these tulips that are just flowering like dahlias. They're so beautiful. And then I got these lovely daffodils from the farmer's market. I love spring, my favorite season.
Talking to you. I'm going to drink my coffee and
Hi, Ben.
bang my head against my...
Hello, I'm not gonna put you through this for very long. Don't worry. I have been told I sound like a caricature of a sick person, but I just have a cold, and when I get colds, I get completely knocked out. It's been my thing since I was a kid, so. And I'm pretty sure it's not COVID. I've taken test number 3 at this point, all negative. So, anyway, just wanted to say that I'm reading The Coming Bad Days still. Haven't been able to do much because I can barely focus and think because I am so congested and sound ridiculous. So, just want to say that I'll update you all later when I can speak again. It might be a few days at this point. I am on day 4 of being sick, so yeehaw. Alright, y'all. Hi, everyone. I'm a little less toad-like today. Throat is feeling a little better. But I thought I would show you what I just got from the library. Okay. So I just picked up a bunch of holds, and there's a lot I'm excited about it. 2 are on the International Booker long list. The first one is The Book of Mother by Valene Hussman. I honestly know nothing about this, and I just put a bunch of the International Booker long lists on hold, and this one came in. So, and it seems on the shorter side, so hopefully I will actually be able to finish it before it's due back. And a lot of these books did not have any holds on them, so that was exciting. Okay, I also got another one,
Love in the Big City by Sang-Young Park. I believe this is translated from Korean. And I know a lot of people have read this. I think I've heard Jalen from A Bar in the Bookcase talk about this, and he really raved about it. So I'm very interested in reading this. Okay, and then I'm really excited about this. I was on hold forever, but I got The Right to Sex, Feminism in the 21st Century by Amiya Srinivasan. A goal of mine is to get better at pronouncing people's names because the internet is a thing, and I should look up the pronunciation of people's names. This is me saying this out loud to do better. Okay, anyway, I'm really excited about this book. I heard that it is a very cutting and needed look at the culture of sex in our modern times. And yeah, I love myself a really good nonfiction, so excited to read this as well. Okay, and then I think this was translated from Norwegian. I might be wrong. Long Live the Post Horn by Vigdis Hjorth. Again, looking up how to pronounce people's names. Yeah, I believe this is a Rebecca Eats Books recommendation. Let's see, is this translated from, oh, it's a verso. Yeah, this is translated from Norwegian, and interested that it is verso books has something to do with it, because I love verso books. Okay, then this is not going to happen, in that there's no way I'm going to read this chucked out from the library while there's a million holds on it, but I finally got The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fanon Jeffers. Oh yeah, it's due back in 3 weeks. And so are a lot of these with a lot of holds on them. So I'm not going to probably be reading this. But I really do want to read this because both Renee at So I Read This Book and Matthew Sharapa both read this book and raved about it. And I do love like a long sweeping historical fiction novel, which is what this book is. So, yeah, I probably won't get to this, and I probably just need to buy myself a copy because I probably wouldn't be able to finish this in the time that it's due back. I would have to ignore everything else that I got, because I think this baby is, let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking almost 800 pages here. Maybe I'll never read it. I'm sorry. I'm so bad with reading long books. But I think it's something I need to get over. I think it's this capitalist mindset of quantity, wanting to just read book after book after book. This feeling of consuming books, that if you read a long book, you're not going to be consuming as many in that amount of time. It's a very silly little thing that I think our brains have done. So I'd like to not do that anymore. That'd be cool. Okay. I figure I could also check in with you all on The Coming Bad Days by Sara Bernstein. I'm almost halfway through, and this girl can write. The writing is really well done, to the point where I'll have to reread things. You might think that, okay, Julie, why is the writing well done if you have to reread things? But it's just written in a very beautiful way. It uses, you can tell that she really knows how to write and knows language, and sometimes my little baby brain needs some help. So I'll have to reread some passages again to really get the full picture, but then you're like, wow, that's a meaty sentence. That sentence is like a work of art. I just think that this writing is really incredible. It reminds me, not in any way content-wise, but just form-wise, it gives me a little bit of Claire Louise Bennett. Just because I feel like Claire Louise Bennett also writes in this very like unctuous, like delectable way that I kind of feel that Sara Bernstein writes. Not as much, this isn't as delectable, I would say, but it's like you read a sentence and you're like, that's a sentence. Like, I feel like Claire Louise Bennett kind of does the same thing. This writing is not sparse. Well, I will say the book I read before, Tides by Sarah Freeman, that was much more like terse and sparse writing, I feel like. But yeah, so far, so good. Yeah, I'm also getting some Ferrante, my brilliant friend, happening in the relationship that the main character forms with their other female colleague. It's also starting to get a little thriller vibes as well, because the university town that they live and work in has had a case of 2 girls who have gone missing, and that sort of hums in the background so far throughout everything. And I think this is set in either Edinburgh or Glasgow, because when I read the back, the author is a professor in Scotland. Let's see. Yeah, lives in Scotland, where she teaches literature and creative writing. And so far it's like an unnamed city in the UK, and I'm just saying it's Scotland, and it's by the sea. So let's go with Edinburgh. Okay. That's where I'm at. I'm 1,000,000% happy that I'm feeling better. I got the Wordle this morning on 2 tries. First time ever. And I feel like that is a really good omen. My birthday's coming up in about a week. It's spring. I'm just feeling all around positive today. Much better than yesterday. So anyway, that's my bookish update. Bye. Finished The Coming Bad Days last night, and I have to say, this was a full-on 5-star read for me. I was really blown away by Sara Bernstein's writing, and just the whole concept of this text in general. So I don't even remember where I left off and what I talked about last when I was talking about this book, but plot-wise, this is not a very plotty book, so to catch you up, I guess, our narrator here, woman in self-imposed exile, became very close with one of her colleagues at the university, to the point where when that colleague's marriage sort of fell apart, she ended up moving in with her, and gave the narrator a very unique perspective on herself. I think I said this previously, but it really reminded me of the friendship between Elena and Lena in the Neapolitan novels. This is just very like, where friendship is sort of used as a mirror to reflect on oneself, particularly in a very male-dominated patriarchal world. So a lot that this book is about, and which the title suggests, The Coming Bad Days, is kind of reflects on what it's like to live through right now in this very specific time where you're sort of waiting constantly for the coming bad days. And she touches on this from a lot of different perspectives, like a little bit about the climate catastrophe. Something that's sort of in the background of this book is kind of extreme weather events that are happening in the city that she's living in, whether it's flooding or an ice storm or something like that. She talks about the forest fires raging in the west coast of America. Hello, that's where I live. And also at the same time has this like backdrop of kind of always walking around in fear, being, you know, a person in a woman's body and knowing what that means and the risk of that. And it's funny, I almost would say that this book is like doom scrolling, but like what it means to like, not doom scrolling, but like doom living, when you're like always waiting for something bad to happen, and kind of living through these absurd times when like, you know, that like catastrophic events are like bound to happen. It's just a matter of like where and when. And she kind of touches on all of that, of like, and that like feeling of like, well, you can't really, like, how do you live then through this time? And that's really what this book is about. And it is so gorgeous, like so well written. I took, I don't know why I didn't underline in this book. It was kind of one of those books where it was like, okay, if I start underlining, it's never going to end because I want to underline everything. So I just started taking pictures of a lot of things, and then I also started like dog tagging. I'm really glad I own this copy so I can like return to it. But this was just so well done, and so well written. So I really highly recommend The Coming Bad Days. If I had to choose which one was better between these two, I would say The Coming Bad Days. However, I did not dislike Tides. It's just something completely different than this book. So despite the descriptions being very similar, they are two very different books, but are very insular, inside women's heads, contemplating being a woman moving through the world. So yeah, very DWM, but they are very different as well. But yeah, this one definitely, ding, 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 takes the cake. So yes, this concludes my little reading vlog of women in self-imposed exile, and coming out of it with a new writer I'm really interested in and excited about, and a new 5-star read for the year. So yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed this. And it was my last read of March. So ending on a high. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go, but I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.